We never thought we'd be as large as we are today. It was never in at least my wildest imagination. To go from 2 attorneys to 115 today was never something that I pictured.
We got into business, and like all companies, you're in a survival mode. So you don't know where your next client's coming from. You don't know where your next paycheck's coming from. And I remember the days when Maurice and I did everything together. Before Howard joined us, Maurice had to do the billing. I couldn't type, Maurice could. So when we didn't have a secretary, Maurice did my typing for me. And we would leave work, come home for dinner, meet back at the office 3 nights a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and work. We didn't have the ability to hire staff, so it was pretty much just the two of us doing everything. But the business vision was survival and bringing home a paycheck and trying to find a way to build things for a long period of time.
Offit Kurman's unique in many ways, from the standpoint of paying people objectively, for the services that they provide. I think many lawyers have come here looking for fairness in the form of having one compensation system for all. I don't know of too many other law firms that are like that. The stories we hear from a compensation standpoint is people go before a compensation committee. They tell their reasons why they should get a large bonus for the year that just ended. And the compensation committee subjectively determines how large a bonus that they'll receive. That's certainly not true at Offit Kurman. I think another reason that we're different is that the firm has steadily grown from the time that it's began. And I think people enjoy being in a place that's growing and dynamic. I know that when we had our Great Recession a few years ago, and many law firms were shedding talent, it was a time for us to go ahead and to bring people on to the firm, that could contribute to our success.
I think that in addition to what Maurice has said, which I agree with, there are a couple other things that are going on in my analysis or perspective. One is that while certainly all lawyers are intelligent for the most part and they've been educated, the legal industry is one that has been steeped in tradition and old ways of thinking for a long, long time. I think one of the things that's distinguished our firm is that we're willing to change. We're willing to recognize a law firm as a business, which all law firms are not willing to do. And we've heard that from many attorneys that we've interviewed over the years, that they come from platforms and environments and law firms where it's just the same old sort of law firm existence and theory for their entire history at the firm. I think that we've been willing to challenge traditional ideas. We've been willing to look at different ways of doing business. We've hired non-attorneys to be managers in the firm, which is not unique, but it's certainly not the norm yet in the mid-market firms that we compete with. So I would say that in addition to the factors that Maurice has articulated, it's that we're willing to challenge our own thinking, we're willing to change, we're willing to be entrepreneurial and to recognize that the law is a business, and particularly since 2008, when the recession hit, I think that the ways of practicing before 2008 and the ways of practicing law and the paradigms that exist after 2008 are much different. And I think that that's one of the reasons that we've succeeded, that we've been willing to challenge ourselves and been willing to change along the way to accommodate the market forces that are at work.
So we've embraced differentiation. It's something that we pride ourselves on, to differentiate ourselves from other firms in the marketplace. Most firms have believed that growth by acquisition or bilateral affiliation would destroy your culture, and we didn't want to believe that, and we wanted to challenge it. So we're a firm that has differentiated itself through compensation models, through growth plans, through growth models, and we'll continue to differentiate ourselves.
Every time I tell the story of how the firm started and how it grew to what it's turned into, it's an amazing, tale. Okay, I don't think there's too many others like us.